For that sound. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jeff,
Bambi.
and you're listening to Death Metal Daddies. Ba-dow, 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 ba-dow. Welcome back.
What's up, man?
Nothing much, man. Ready to record episode 25.
Yeah, I feel like we've been on the 20s for quite a while. I mean, I guess obviously not. I guess it's just, the whole synchronization process. It just goes one number after the other, but feels like we've been on the 20s for a while, but I guess that's probably because we've had some lag time in there. So, and you know, it would make natural sense, but I'm just a moron, so
It's all right. We're a quarter of the way there now to 100. Getting there
yeah,
slowly but
quarter of
surely.
our anniversary.
Yeah. Happy
Quarter
happy
anniversary
quarter
show. Can we say that
anniversary.
yet?
What's that?
Yeah. Are we 25? Are we 25, 24?
For 25 episodes. This is the 25th episode.
Oh, wow. Yeah. We're a quarter anniversary show.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. Somewhat celebratory.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Oh, yeah.
what have you done the past week?
Oh, just kind of cranked a couple out here and there. And, no, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Work, a little bit of spray foam. I'm off this week of school, so it's like super joyous week for me. I feel like I just get to release all responsibilities that I've ever held and get to party like I'm 21 again. So, um, no, it's been good, man. Work's going good. Everyone's happy there, so that's cool. Yeah, nothing crazy exciting. Bow hunting's been terrible. I've had again yeah, I think I already went over the gist of that. A lot of encounters, failed executions. So that's been real tough. But hey, whatever. Rifle season is upon us, and like a couple days away. So hoorah! Yeah, man. What have you been up to? What you been doing?
Uh, Not too much. It's been a kind of a slower week. I did have been going out to my deer spot more and more. I did move my blind just so I'm
Hmm.
higher up and can see more. Um,
Okay.
Built a new chicken coop. I just bought a shed and I'm kind of converting it into a chicken coop. So the chickens are in that now. Did have a freak out moment last night because I'm trying to let them like free range, just kind of let them out and about. Well, I was like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, I need to put them up because we at night we'll hear coyotes, so I want to put them up at night. Like, all right, I gotta go put them up. I didn't realize it was already dark and they
Gotcha.
were all scattered everywhere. So it was kind of like a
Oh,
Easter egg hunt,
wow.
but with the actual egg producers. So that was fun
Yeah,
in
right.
the pitch black,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
they're
Oh man, I
silent.
bet.
So it's
Any
just
come up missing or?
no.
Yeah.
They're all kind of relatively near each other. Only one, it looked like they tried to get through a fence and their head got stuck. Like nothing like bad, but they're just funny. We just walked up. Like I think they also get scared and think like if they don't move, we won't see them. So we come up on them, they just freeze. But
Yeah,
yeah,
they just like do the stay still thing.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that reminds me, speaking on the wildlife side of things, I found that I'm kind of late on this news, but a couple weeks ago we decided to have a bonfire in the yard, and as I'm preparing this fire, I hear Opie freaking out in the fence, and he's just fucking going crazy, man. Just and usually, like he's a great alert dog. Like anyone walks down our street, like we're at the end of an asphalt road and it turns to gravel right at our house because we're technically outside city limits. Like we literally our house is on the city line. So they don't like service our road. But anyways, he's a great alert dog. Like he's just super noticeable of anything that's out of the ordinary. Well, I hear him going off one night And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm getting the fire ready, and I go around the back of the fence, and I see this fucking raccoon, and it's just like, I was like, what the fuck? And it's just like, I get closer to it, and it's just like, and like, just like, just does this like jumpy, hissy thing, and I was like, oh fuck, this is a rabid raccoon. And like, I have found in the last less than 6 months, like I'll say more closer to like four, at work, Osage Vistas at the lake, I have found two raccoons with distemper. And I don't know if you're familiar with distemper, but essentially it's like a rabid raccoon. And so, fortunately, the ones at work, they were very docile, not aggressive, just kind of like in a weird, almost towards death phase. Like they don't really know what's going on. They kind of break out into seizures and look up at the sky, sort of thing, and lose their balance periodically. Really weird. Not good. But so the ones at work, I've been able to just kind of relocate and move them to different areas. And the next day I go back to check, they're dead. Like they literally have died within 24 to 48 hours of me seeing them, which it's weird. It's, odd to see for sure, but I don't know. I guess it's just a fucking gnarly disease. I tried to I was like seriously a conservationist for a moment, and attempted to reach out to some wildlife rehabilitators and ask them, I was like, hey, I got a raccoon up here. He doesn't use its back legs. It fucking kind of looks up at the sky and shakes every now and then. They're like, oh yeah, that's distemper. A 22 bullet to the head would do it justice. And I was like, oh shit, okay, well, I'm not available to do that here. So they're just like, yeah, just basically wildlife rehabilitators. It's mostly volunteer work. They don't get a lot of reimbursement for what they do. So shout out to them for doing what they do, but they were not able to, come pick up this raccoon or even meet me to take it. So I just basically had to figure out what to do with it on my own. So I just rehomed it to a nearby forest roadside and let it go. But anyways, sorry. Long story short, these raccoons die very quickly after they get distemper. Well, so anyways, back to my campfire or bonfire. I'm trying to light a fire and I hear Opie freaking out. And I go to the backside of the fence and I see this rabid raccoon. It's like, and all jumpy, like spooky at me. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is distemper. But this one's aggressive. And I like tried to get close to it and it like starts hissing, jumping at me. But again, it doesn't have a really good vertigo. You can tell because it's like trying to catch its balance as it like jumps and hisses at me. And so I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta kill this thing. Like this thing has got to be put down because I did not want Opie to get any sort of rabies or anything like that from this raccoon. And I had to figure out what to do quickly, man. And I was like, I cannot kill this thing with my 9 mm or my 30-30. Like if I take a bullet to this thing, the cops are gonna show up and the whole neighborhood's gonna be like, what the fuck's going on down there? And so I had to grab the shovel, man. And I know that sounds terrible, but I had to dispatch this raccoon's life with my shovel. And it sounds terrible. I know. I get it. I get it. It was a very hyper aggressive form to dispatch this animal, but had to do the deed, man. Like this thing was fucking crazy looking. And so I just gave it a good couple whackings on the head and decided to bury it because raccoons, I believe, are in the family of canines. Like, they have canine teeth and everything like that. So I don't know if that means that they can directly pass diseases to dogs, but Opie's like mouth was like getting to the bottom of the fence, snapping at this thing, and they were like almost meeting at the mouth, like snapping back at each other. And I was just like, fuck this, whop, whop. And, and put it down. And so I know this sounds crazy. You can cut this part out if it's too excessive. But anyways, dispatched the animal and buried it. And that's what I've been or that's what I've read online to do with diseased animals that you find. Yeah. So like if you shoot a deer that's diseased and is proven to have CWD or you feel like it's susceptible to a disease, you're supposed to literally bury it. Their website recommends to bury it, which is crazy. And so I wouldn't have yeah, I wouldn't have thought that myself, but I don't know. I dug a big asshole and decided to bury the fucker. So
They want you to bury
yeah,
the
that was
deer if it has.
anyways. Yeah, so like I read somewhere that if you have pretty sure if you harvest a deer suspected to have disease to not, just dispel its carcass on a roadside somewhere, they want you to bury it. Because I assume it doesn't really show because, but I assume that's so vultures, coyotes, raccoons don't go to eat meat or consume anything from that deer and become a carrier of whatever pathogen that it had, you know what I mean? So I mean, I think that that's why that rule is there. And I don't think it's a rule, but it's just more of like a recommendation sort of thing. So I
I
don't
don't know
know.
because I've looked into that thing a little bit because I want to say it's super contagious among other deer, like even just like being passed from like saliva from deer to deer.
Hmm.
So I'd almost assume like if you bury it, the ground's gonna absorb it and then it's gonna create whatever the deer might eat nearby. So I feel like that's gonna spread it just as much. I don't almost feel like burning it or even
Yeah.
contacting maybe conservation maybe do something about it if they really want to combat the disease.
Yeah, see, I don't think that they do that. I don't think that they come, I don't think they pick it up or anything like that. Like literally, because I had to do my research and I'm about to go to opening rifle weekend. I'm about to go uh spend deer camp at a CWD county. And this is a new management zone. And so we had to learn the testing sites and basically you're able to harvest your deer, but you have to either take the head or the carcass to the testing site and they will then test it. But you don't even get your results until 24 to 48 hours after testing. So you basically, upon harvest, assume that it doesn't have CWD, I guess, and collect the meat as you would any other deer, and just hope that your results come back negative. So, um, but yes, I read further into the instructions, and they recommend that you either bury the carcass or dispose of it in a waste receptacle, which I thought was crazy. But yeah, I'm just like, man, if I stick a whole deer carcass in my receptacle, I'm sure my trash guy's gonna be like, what the fuck is this? So like that's just not something that you see in trash receptacles all the time. But I don't know. Yeah, that's what I've read anyways. So I don't know, man. I buried this raccoon and to me it makes sense rather than leaving the carcass exposed,
Hmm.
especially with vultures. I know that if I left that carcass or if I just tossed it into a wood line, vultures, if anything's going to get it. And, I'm, I mean, people don't go out hunting vultures and eat their meat, but I'm sure that those fuckers have got to be carrying a lot of shit. What do they call it? I don't know. Like carcasses are their main meal, roadside carcasses, roadkill, all kinds of shit that they just basically feed on scavenge, like they're
Hmm.
scavengers. So, but I don't know. I buried this thing like 2 feet deep. I dug a pretty deep hole for this raccoon, and it hasn't smelt like I haven't smelt like a dead carcass from that area. I also noticed that my dog hasn't even messed with that site, which is good. So that tells me that, she can't even smell it it there. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It seems like it makes kind of sense.
Yeah.
I assume it's decomposing by bugs that are probably deep in the soil and taking care of it. I don't know. That's 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 my thoughts. But anyways, yeah, crazy story. I guess I wanted to add to my time here, what I've been doing in the last week or so. So that
That
was
was the
like
past week.
around 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
No, it was like it was like a couple weeks ago, but it was a very interesting moment that I forgot to bring up. But anyways, I guess long story short, what I was getting to is that's the third raccoon with distemper that I have found personally. I know it's not the same locations, but I have found personally easily within the last 6 months, if not the last, like I said, 4 or 3 even, dude. It's wild. And so like I ended up like on the second raccoon that I found at work, I Googled distemper raccoons and I see all these news articles, reporters on news stories like fucking raccoons running rampant with distemper. And there's like cities that are like overburdened with distemper raccoons. And I was fortunate to find the raccoons that I did. Like I seen videos of raccoons like fucking jumping and climbing, scaling shit, and they're just like and like looking like they would eat your face off. Seriously, I'm like, holy shit, dude! Like that would be nuts. They look like straight up like 28 days later zombie raccoons. So I was just like, yeah, I'm glad to find the raccoons that I did, where they're more like just paralyzed, sort of like weird, like like raccoons, you know. But yeah. Anyways, sorry.
You're
Wildlife
good.
disease. It's a serious thing. But you know, and it my thoughts are, especially raccoons, I feel like they're probably getting disease so much because they're dumpster divers, man. They're probably ingesting some crazy harmful shit that they should not be built for. Like if they're in it's I say that because, you know, I do maintenance around a condo kind of complex, like grounds essentially, and I find raccoons in dumpsters all the time. It's a normal call. It's like, hey, there's a raccoon over in this dumpster. Okay, no problem. I'll bring a board. You stick a board in the dumpster. They crawl out after. And so like that's a normal call. Well, I mean, you think of all the raccoons that go in those dumpsters. I'm sure there's fucking like probably paint thinner, house cleaners, you know, God knows what, all kinds of chemicals that probably gets on the food that they probably dig through and eat, and I'm sure eventually culminates to these crazy diseases. Like distemper just seems like a like when that chick said distemper, I'm just like, I don't know. Like if you look up distemper online, like I said, you're gonna see rabid. It looks like what you would assume is rabies, and it just seems like a name that they put on a wide range of
Hmm.
multitude of symptoms. So I don't know, man. It's interesting for sure, but
Yeah.
definitely fucking crazy. We're back. By the way, Distemper sounds like a great metal band name, right?
Maybe yeah, maybe like a they either like a grindcore band or even like a like that newer wave of like the hardcore deathcore bands, like the attitudey
Yeah, yeah,
ones.
I could definitely see it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I could see that.
Speaking of that, you want to get
If you're
into
out there
some of
listening.
the new music?
Yeah, dude. I love this playlist. I really did. I had a great time with it. I thought it was a great playlist, man.
What was
Way
some
to go, Jeff.
stand-ups?
Way to go, artists that had these releases. Um, honestly, you might find this surprising. Maybe not, but my biggest like on this playlist was Make Them Suffer and
Really?
their new release.
That is surprising.
Yeah. Yeah,
Tell
dude,
me
I
what you
had a
thought of
lot of
it.
fun with this album. Yeah, it was a well, so it's a gent this is a gent band. Really genty album, obviously, you know, and but I really enjoyed this because it was exactly how I remembered this band. I remember the chick on the keyboards. The keyboards are still very prominent. The band's still very much the same from what I've heard in the previous years. They have not changed much, but with that being said, they are still able to create new music that still sounds new, doesn't sound like, you know, just every song that they've ever made. And they create hooks and it's catchy and sticks with me, man. And so I was like, I don't know, I was just really impressed with this album. This album is called or I guess it's self-titled, Make Them Suffer. So very cool. I think the most disappointing thing about this album is probably the artwork. I don't think it's that great. I don't know that it's super appealing to the eye. Doesn't look like deathcore, metalcore, gent, whatever. But aside from that, dude, it's musically, I think, a phenomenal gent album, honestly. My favorite songs are Weaponized was good, but I really liked Oscillator, Doom Switch, Man of God. Those are all back to back to back, so that was a great uh zone in the album. And then No Hard Feelings, man. I love that. The album is just like a total genty riff ride throughout. I loved it. I love that song. Um, and then Tether is another good one on it, and it was just really an easy ride front to back. And so, for those reasons, man, it was definitely a highlight of this playlist for me. Did you listen to that one?
I did. I didn't listen to it all the way through. This isn't really a band I've been too into most of the time. Every now and then I'd hear songs like, "Oh, it's not too bad." It was. This wasn't terrible. It just wasn't something that I'm super into. There were a lot of cool parts, but I feel like every time the clean vocals came in is when it kind of lost me. I felt like felt
Really?
like it was too much of a shift because I like the nastiness and dirtiness, but then when that ultra clean vocals comes in, I feel like it takes away from the dinginess, the dirtiness. It makes me feel not that. Kind of like that's kind of my issue. The issue I was having with that
Okay.
newer Veil and Maya album. Like I loved when he would
Mm,
actually like get in there, get all nasty, but then all of a sudden it gets all pretty.
yeah.
I don't know, something about that. It's too much of a jump for me, I feel like. But it wasn't bad. It was better than I thought it was going to be. Because like I said, this isn't a band I'm super into, but I think I got up until like the fourth or fifth song. So I did like Weaponized. I remember thinking of that one. Yeah, it's not a bad album. Not my cup of tea, but I can see it being very especially this band specifically makes me think of Cole, our old buddy Cole,
Mm.
because I know he was really into this
Yeah,
band.
see, I don't know if Justin listens to them, but it made me think of Justin. That's crazy. But I just feel like this is a band that Justin might be into. I don't know.
Yeah, Justin, I know you're probably listening to this. He's one of our avid listeners. Check out Make Them Suffer. I know you know about them. They have a new album out. Check it out. Self-titled.
They're pretty good, man. They're pretty good. I thoroughly enjoyed this album. Um, I'm surprised you say the hard switch is the hardest part for you because, like, I feel like being a fan of Periphery, they are a band of super hard switches. Like Spencer
Yes.
Sotelo gets dirt nasty, and then he gets like super cleany, poppy, and I mean, I'd be willing to say that he's poppier than this band gets. Like this band is poppy because of the chick singer, but it's kind of I don't know. It's
I
an easier switch to me than Periphery. Not
uh,
you, I guess.
I would agree Spencer does get poppier. However, I feel like with him, it's not as big as a he kind of transitions better in my opinion to where he'll do the nastiness, but
He
then he'll
does.
kind of go kind of low into more of the poppy. Like he doesn't do like a
Yeah.
very visceral scream, then all of a sudden his super poppiness. There's usually like there is an ebb and a flow, but there's a connective tissue that to where it's not straight out of left field like this is your left brain, this is your right brain, and somehow we're gonna make this work. It's where he in my opinion, he has a better thing. And also with Periphery, I'm more okay with it because I know there's usually like a central idea. I don't know if there's a central idea with Mick and stuff. It's not something I've super delved into. There might be something and I might be blown away by it. But just listening to it as a
Yeah.
brand new band for me, it's one of those things like like I said, it brought me back to Veil Maya, which it's not bad. It's something I still listen to from time to time. It's just as soon as those very clean vocals come in, something about it throws me off. And it's just something I think it's
Hmm.
when I kind of transitioned from deathcore to like more straight death metal, I developed a little bit of that like I need to not like this kind of stuff. Almost like trying to develop an elitist attitude. Um, but now that I'm older, I stopped caring about that as much. But there's still a little bit of that when
Yeah.
that super clean vocals comes in.
I can get it. I definitely do. I get both sides of the argument because this guy in particular with Make Them Suffer, he gets like super nasty and he gets really low and super aggressive sounding, and he does not really switch that up like throughout the entire album. Like his side of the vocals is uber gnarly whole way through. Like he doesn't let up. He doesn't participate in any of the cleans. It's literally only her on the keys. But for some reason, I don't know. I just think I'm just more on the fence of very accepting of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally, I don't know. I find that it meshes. I think it meshes really well. Maybe it's because I've listened to this band a lot more previously. I don't know. I don't know. I It was thoroughly enjoyable for me, but I've really dug some of their older stuff too. So it was refreshing to hear that, they didn't really switch it up drastically. I think they've gotten better even, you know, than what they've done before. So that was really cool, man. It honestly made me want to see them live. I thought that this music sounded super interactive. Oh, I would love to see this band live, especially on this album run, man. I think that it's probably going to be a blast um, for their live sets. So I don't know.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And is this a
With
comeback
that being
album for
said,
them? Because
it was pretty awesome.
I feel like they've been
Um,
kind of away for a bit.
yeah, I think I probably would be willing to say that. Let me see. I'll double check their discography. Last album release, it looks like it was 2020, How to
Oh,
Survive a
okay.
Funeral.
Okay.
And so, yeah, not terribly, old, but I will say it's just nothing's been crazy memorable in their recent discography as their like debut album stuff was, but this album, I think it just really puts him back in the spotlight for me. So,
I gotcha. And you brought up you wanted to see them on this album cycle. And that reminded me, there was I saw an announcement before we went live. I wanted to bring to your attention because I thought you'd be interested. There's a new tour that got announced. The headliner is Born of
ooh,
Osiris with support from Within Destruction
wow,
and Entheos. And
ooh,
they're coming to
damn, that would be
Lawrence.
cool. Oh man, yeah, we should probably go to that one. When's that show?
I think early March. I want to say like March 3rd or something like that.
Oh, hell yeah, let's do it, dude.
All right.
I don't even like that time of year. I don't even really care what day of the week it is. Like, there's nothing really fun going on that time of the year. It's like, I think we got St. Patrick's Day. That's about the only thing, right? I mean,
Yeah, but
that and
I want to say
gardening.
it's even way before that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I'm probably totally down for that one, dude. That'd be fun as
Yeah.
hell.
I think there's some other bands like before Entheos, but I don't remember who they were. It was mostly I was focused on Entheos. Like, oh, okay, I'd be down to see them because more Osiris, I feel like I've seen enough,
Yeah.
and also kind of they keep coming out with albums that kind of felt lackluster, and they tour all the time. It seems like Within Destruction's kind of the same
Yeah.
way. I haven't seen them live, but I've kind of gotten tired of their newer stuff. Like, have you been
Well, I
keeping up
mean,
with
they
them?
did a weird, yeah, I mean, I tried because that album, what was that album called where they like got real slammy almost?
Death Wish.
Um, Death Wish, yes. And so that album is like the highlight of their discography for me, and I think for obvious reasons. I mean, that's probably been the heaviest they've ever been, but they just got like crazy poppy after that, and I didn't really
Mm-hmm.
understand what they were doing, especially when you look at the album cover of Death Wish. Like, you just expect it to get nastier from there, I feel like, but they absolutely did not. They went from Death Wish to like the poppiest kind of almost like anime influence type shit, and I was just like, what is this? Like, is this even the same band, So, um, have I kept up with them really? No, not really at all. I mean, I think I've heard a heavy tune or two in the recent years, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you what they're doing right now,
Yeah, I
as
feel like
far
they've
as like
become a little
creating
bit of a
music.
troll band. A little bit. Like I feel like they're purposefully trying to piss people off a little bit, like especially with that album after Death Wish. I think it was called Yokoi, where they did adapt that like anime
Yeah.
thing, and they even have I think like a rap song on it, just like thrown in there. It's just weird,
Mm.
and it's just like it felt like they were trying to just piss people off. But
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'd say that it definitely threw their fan base off because like that album Death Wish, dude, that was some of the gnarliest death metal, deathcore vocals that I've heard in the genres combined. Like there's something about his I think of the song Self-Hatred. That's probably one of my most favorite songs on that whole album, Death Wish. Like, oh, I don't know. It's just so good. But his like the vocals, man, he just like hits this like pig squealish like I don't know, and is low. You probably can't hear that on the podcast, but every time like I've listened back and like still to this day can't hear my vocal attempt playback. So I don't know. I need to do something with my mic to where you can at least hear what I'm trying to do. But there's something about that dude's lows, man. He's got like this pig squeal entwined into his low, and it's just one of the nastiest sounds that I've heard in metal. And so I fell in love with them on that Death Wish album. And then yeah, it was just an uber kind of fall off after that. But yeah, I still think that would be a cool show. I'm absolutely down for that one.
yeah, yeah, you introduced me to Within Destruction, and also you the album that I've been listening to the most this week is an album and a band that you've been following and recommended, and that is the debut album by Emasculator.
Ooh, hell yeah.
This is a very cool album. I like some of the things they're doing on it. For those who haven't been keeping up, this is the new project featuring the former lead singer. What's her name again?
Malika Sum, and that's just like shortened version. Like I think her last name is like a lot longer than that, but that's just what she goes by on Instagram. So
I
Malika
gotcha.
Sum or Sun, Malika Sum. Yeah, it's something like that. But anyways, yeah, dude, gnarly as hell. I've loved this chick for so long, like ever since Abnormality, man. Like she's my top female vocalist in metal right now, and like has been for years. Like I just think that her tones are just nasty nasty as hell, um, heavy like as they get. Really, I think she's one of the heaviest female vocalists out there. So yeah, this album did not disappoint, man.
Hmm.
Yeah, did you have some favorite tracks on it?
Yeah, so for me, the most interesting parts of the album, I think, is everything from track 3 to track 6. And it's like a
Okay,
seven song. I think they're calling it an EP, but it feels like an album to me. It feels like the length of an album anyway. But yeah,
it
Thesmorph
does.
Rites, Eradication of the Asuras, Age of the Goddess, and then also the kind of the interlude track, The Unassailable, I feel like is what makes the album
Yeah,
even more interesting. It's so good
dude.
and it leads
Yes,
so
isn't that
well to the
awesome?
Eradication of the Asuras. It's so good.
It is. It is so good, man. And it's like if you haven't listened to this track, it's very like chanty kind of um I don't know. I don't want to say like woman empowerment, but I feel like emasculator is kind of like their thing. So
Hmm.
it's like this. I don't know what language this is in, but it's definitely like a woman kind of chanty voice that's going on. I don't know. Cool as hell though. I don't know what she's saying, but it is badass.
Yeah,
And like you said,
it's.
yeah, it leads up to that track following perfectly, man. It's
Mhm.
such an awesome moment in this EP album, whatever. Yeah, I agree. It definitely has the vibe more of an album than an EP to me too. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
no
it
doubt.
feels very focused. And then but yeah, I think it, and I think the whole album kind of has that whole Hindu vibe because I think that's what a lot of the, like I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that's what the cover is. And I want to say I heard Vishnu in the chant. So I think it is like an
Mm,
Indian chant. And then I don't know
okay.
who the Asuras are, but I'm assuming that's a tribe, uh, Hindu tribe. I'm not too
Okay.
sure. I'm not too keen on Hinduism, but then Age of the Goddess. Great. This is a great album. And then I started this made me do a deep dive on YouTube. Their drummer Sierra White is a beast as well. She makes
Yeah.
those crazy blasts look easy. So hats
Yeah,
off to
dude.
Emasculator.
Yeah, this whole band is it's a stellar lineup, man. And I hate to compare them to Abnormality just because that's Malika's old band, but honestly, you got a lot of similar things going on. That was in Abnormality. It may not be as like technical or as I don't know. I kind of feel like Abnormality delved almost into not really prog, but they kind of had like these proggy breaks, whereas this band's just straight brutal death metal blasts in your face, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I don't know. Anyways, it's definitely good, solid death metal if you haven't listened to it. Emasculator, new band, super badass, check it out. Disfigurement and the Divine, right? Is that the title of
Yeah, I
this?
think so.
The Disfigured and the Divine. Yeah. Yeah, that was it was super fun. Super fun.
The only other album that I also full album, there's other EPs on this that I liked, but the only other good album on this that I was really also digging was the new album by Salt Wound. Did you check this one
Mm,
out?
okay. I did not check this one out. I did not make it that far. I don't know, man. Yeah, I kind of lacked. There's a lot more albums on this than I expected. You sent me this, you were just like, yeah, just add what you want to, man. And then I was like, all right, cool. So I opened it up expecting it to be casual, and then I'm just like, oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh wow, there's a lot on this playlist, man. I was like, damn. So
Well, it
yeah,
felt like bare bones when I
unfortunately I did not
created
make
it.
it through it. Yeah,
It
no,
felt like
it
that.
was
Then I
definitely
looked at
stacked,
it.
man. There
Yeah, I saw it was like 3 hours and
no, it
46 minutes.
was
Like, oh, that's the normal amount I usually have. So,
Yeah, no, you're good. It is probably close to like the normal amount of time. I think I probably lacked on going back to this. And I know that I threw on some podcasts in the week too, in between. I like to kind of variate between podcasts and music. I
yeah.
feel like I kind of I don't know. I just like to go back and forth. But yeah, Salt Wound, no, this was one I did not make it to. So what's going on in this album?
So I don't know too much about Saltwind. I know my buddy Josh Lubering. He's always talked about this band because they're one of
Hmm.
those like older deathcore bands that didn't get much attention. I guess now they're back.
Okay. I was wondering because I feel like that I knew the name, but I wasn't sure if that was connected to like the I remember this band Salt Wound kind of coming out in like the '06, '07 era in high
Hmm.
school. And so
Yeah.
is I guess that's the same band, huh?
Yes. From what it sounds like, because
Awesome.
it's pretty much that older style, almost like despised icon without like the back and forth, but a little bit of that attitude-ish kind of stuff. For
Oh,
me,
okay.
the top song was Blight. I love the breakdown to where it almost sounds like the guitar like has like a kill switch over effect, like just kind of an overarching dun, 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 over the part of it. Dun, dun, dun. It's pretty fun. It's not breaking new ground, but it's just fun. It's just dumb caveman fun. Cool vibes.
Oh yeah.
I enjoy the new Salt Wound. Um,
Oh
is there
yeah.
anything else on this playlist that you dug?
Yeah, I actually kind of got into Counterparts a little bit. I thought that this kind of had a pretty cool sound. I don't know that I've really listened to this band before. Um, but it was pretty fun to listen to. From what I remember, this is kind of like genty deathcore, right? Am I right on that? Did you listen to this one?
Yeah, ish. I've always had a hard time getting into this band, but this album, this EP or whatever it is, was actually very caught my attention and was very a lot better than I thought it was going to be because I've never been able to get into this band.
Mm-hmm.
They've always been, I felt like super hyped. They were always talked about, but I feel like this is more because this is the same thing as in End. I feel like this is closer to End than any of their other
Oh,
stuff has been. So I feel like this was a lot better for
okay.
me.
Yeah, I did not catch that relation. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, man, I like this one. And that was counterparts' new album, EP, whatever, Heaven Let Them Die. Brutal, gnarly. And that new Salt Wound album, I think we didn't mention the title. It is called The Temptation of Pain. Yeah. That was all that I caught on this playlist. I seen that you also had new Tribulation on here and new Molder.
Yeah, I also have the new EP by Heavy Hitter. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah. I listened to that. I did listen to that one.
yeah, it was fun. Reminded me of seeing the live. However, I felt like the album made it seem like they were heavier than what I remember because I don't remember the deep
Mm,
guttural stuff what I did, but it still has that attitude, kind of like the gift giver, fuck you kind of attitude kind of stuff. So that was fun. New
yeah.
EP by Heavy Hitter. I want to say, is it Disposition of Violence or is that just a song? Uh, Come on, load.
Moments of misery.
Ah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And now this, did you say you seen this band? Was this on the Carnifex bill?
yeah, they were
Is
the
that what you're saying?
very first opener.
Oh wow, okay.
This is the one where the
Nice.
drummer spit on the people in the front part during one of the drum breaks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I still don't know how I'd feel about that, man.
It was in
Like
the
if you're a
moment. It was
huge
that
fan,
attitude.
yeah, yeah. Just like, oh god damn it, I just got this fucking dude's loogie on me. Fuck.
Well, I would equate it if when we saw last second 10 seconds of life, if like the bassist came on and like spit at you kind of thing. Like that attitude, like you're pumped already, and they're just giving you more of that
Yeah,
fuck you. I
true.
mean, I feel like
Yeah.
it's just in the moment.
Yeah, because I mean, well, it's like you get spit on, you're not going to be able to stop the show. You know what I mean? You're not going to be like, hey, this
That's assault.
motherfucker just spit on me. Yeah, yeah. That, sir, is bodily fluids. That
I'm
is
calling the
technically
cops.
assault. They'd have all been like, yo, fuck this guy. Let's beat the shit out of him.
You're all witnesses.
Yeah. Oh man, that's just it's an early as hell move, but yeah, you know what? I guess that's metal. I mean, you're probably not gonna find that at any other show. So
Yeah.
right on. That's brutal.
I I did check out Tribulation. I only put them on here because I heard a little bit of hype about them. They're more of like a gothic metal, but
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. Is this like singy, gothic
yeah,
kind of
very
shit
like that.
too?
Yeah, it's purely singing. I don't think there's any screens, but it's more that like nasally
Okay.
kind of gothic low style.
Is this
It's
like
not.
in the vein of Swallow the Sun or?
I would say a little bit more gothicy, almost like typo negative kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
It was okay. I didn't mind. I feel like it would be a particular mood. I feel like this would have been more fitting in October leading up to Halloween than mid-November post Halloween
Hmm.
because it did have
Yeah.
kind of like that whole like vampire vibe. It wasn't bad.
Huh.
That new album was called words I can't pronounce. Savib Rosa in okay, I'm assuming Sub Rosa in Eternum by Tribulation.
Yeah, I bet you got that right.
Yep,
Yeah.
100%. Mulder. This is kind of like old school death metal. It wasn't too bad. But listening to it, and I still can't think of it. There's a specific band. It almost reminds me of a little bit of Jungle Rot, just slightly different vocals.
Hmm. Oh, okay.
That
Cool.
album is called Catastrophic Reconfiguration. It was okay. It wasn't nothing I got super into. But I did want to get to the tracks that you added. Um,
Yeah,
did you
so
check
like
out?
I added these I added these tracks and I didn't even listen to the new That I Art Is Murder. I was like super pumped to, and I was just like, oh, new That I Art Is Murder. Let me add it to the playlist. Jeff, check this out. And then like, yeah, I intended to. I added it with full intentions to listen to it. But yeah, no, dude, I totally failed on that front. I did not listen to it. What'd you think of it?
So I have feelings about the Irish murder. Ever since the CJ thing happened
Yeah,
because yes, I
CJ
don't
split.
agree with what CJ did, and like however the band wants to handle their business when kicking out members. Because I understand like if you agree with them, don't agree with them. It's bring them bad press. If you're a band that's trying to make money and that's your career, you don't want bad press and lose fans. I get it, but it was how they handled the situation that I didn't like it. To where they kicked him out and then without letting him know, they re-record his vocals with some of his replacement.
Recorded the whole album, yeah. And so it was super shadowy, super, yeah, you know what? I feel like honestly, I think both ends of the parties came out equal in this situation because I've looked online with this new release, literally saw like a metal, I don't know, lamb goat or something, some post on Facebook, scrolled by, and it was like There It Is Murder's new single, and I click on the comments, and immediately it's just a flood of "fuck you, There It Is Murder died with CJ." Blah blah blah, and it's just like, damn, like what? There's seriously armies. I feel like probably on both sides that are for the new band and they're just like Team CJ. And so, I think for those reasons, because of how they did him, because they did do him wrong, it just kind of created this whole sort of chaos on both ends of the spectrum, where it's like people are just gonna be devout to that dude because, they feel for him and they're just like, yeah, even though he fucked up, like they still did him dirty and, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. It's crazy, but it's an interesting thing to pop up in metal news anyways. So
Yeah, you know he's a realtor
who did
now?
they yeah I saw that and I was like, no fucking way. Like in a suit and tie and shit, and he's like all tatted up, just thumbs up. I was just like, what? That is crazy. I don't know. That's definitely a weird role to step into. But they gained they I want to say it was who's the new vocalist now? What band was he in
I want to
before?
say a Virgin's
I forget
Crown.
the Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. And see, I was never really a big fan of that band. And honestly, in all honesty, I felt like it was particularly because of the vocals, because I felt like they were that uber deathcore, like he just had like a lot of vocal tone in his like gurgliness, and it just wasn't appealing to my ears. I don't know. Were you ever into that band like before, like
I
Die
tried,
Hard or?
but I remember someone showed them to me, but they had it as a lyric video, and I remember looking at the lyrics, was like, this is the lyrics is what annoyed me, is because it's literally like he typed out a song, then he took every single word and put it in a thesaurus to make it a super complicated word, to where it's like
Yeah. Hmm.
he's not you're not saying much, you're just saying a bunch of big words, and what the message of what you're trying to say isn't much of anything, kind of thing. That was what bothered me about a Virgin's Crown. They weren't
Yeah, I
bad.
feel like they were trying to ride the alien wave. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like the alien
Yeah.
metal wave. And I just kind of felt like they were a little late to the party. Like I felt
Mm-hmm.
like Rings of Saturn had already kind of came out and blown up the world with their greatness, and then you have a Version's Crown kind of coming out late, and the music just wasn't even on par with Rings of Saturn, in my opinion. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. I was never really on board with him from the get-go. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah, I guess what I'm saying is fuck the artist murder. But no.
yeah, I tried to listen
I'm kidding.
to
I'm kidding.
I tried to listen to the album Godlike, but and I do try to separate the artist from the art, but it is with something about this one, it's hard to distinguish that because you know what happened, and also I don't feel like that album is that good. But this new track, I actually
I
kind of dug.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if we're on Godlike, I second that, but I feel like it's just not that well-rounded of an album. And I don't
Mhm.
know if it was rushed on any means or if I have a lot of questions about this album because, like, is this CJ's written material for the lyrics, or I
I
mean,
think
I
it was.
assume, but I also feel like okay. I just felt like thematically it just didn't like seem like a well hold piece. It just kind of seemed like it was just whatever, whereas the albums before it were clearly kind of like well tight knit theme around them, some sort of, whereas just like this just kind of came out like godlike. Godlike, even that name just sounds like a generic, just kind of on the spot sort of title, doesn't it? I don't know. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong, but
I don't know. I feel like they could have pulled it off because I thought the artwork looked pretty cool, and that with the titles, like, okay,
yeah,
maybe it could be pulled off. But I do think like the tone of the album kind of fit the album cover, but like the music itself, I didn't think fit anything. I felt like it was like you were talking about. I almost felt like a jumbled mess. It did not feel cohesive. It just felt like here's another album. We're fulfilling our contract kind of
yeah,
thing. Um,
right, yeah, just kind of like a filler album.
yeah. But with
Well,
this
I guess
new,
aside from that, yeah, is this new track juicy or what?
it was actually pretty good, I will say. And I think that was the issue. Another issue with Godlike was because I feel like I think I don't know for sure, but I think they literally left the lyrics and all. You're just like, hey, here's CJ's recordings. Listen to this. Do your take on it. So I think he was already trying to
Mm,
do vocal patterns and everything the same, just with his voice. This one, I feel like we get more of what he wants to do in the Irish Murder, which does give it a little bit more flavor, and I think a little bit more refreshing for the Irish Murder. It's almost where somewhere between CJ and Randy Blythe. I feel like there's a little bit of that drawl
huh.
in his delivery, but still has that CJ Lowe's kind of style Lowe's. So I thought it was a little bit. It was better. It's better than what Godlike was, and I felt like it's not as catchy as like Make America Hate Again or Human Target and stuff like that, but it is still pretty good. So I would almost put on par with kind of that era. It was pretty good.
Okay,
Interested to see what they'll do.
cool. Yeah, I'm definitely interested too, man. I'm gonna check that single out this next week, guarantee it. So I definitely flubbed on that one. But I did add it, the new Mental Cruelty. Did you listen to that one?
I did. Um, I didn't like the piano thing they did with Mystique. So as soon as like I got in and into it, it's like, nope, skip. Can't do this. Uh, but the actual
Yeah.
song itself, Symphony of a Dinosaur, it's actually a good song. And I might have been harsh on Mental Cruelty last time. I think my issue was, and I think if I got more into Mental Cruelty and like their music and seeing them, I feel like if I saw them, I would want them to be the heaviest band on the bill, not the least heaviest, because I feel like that would be more suited for their strong suits. I'm not big into the clean vocals, but everything else I think is great about this track. What was your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, man, it wasn't terrible, and it really kind of rides the wave of what you're saying. But I think that I hate to say that I hated band's new stuff, but like my favorite Mental Cruelty, like I really love this band for that album Insephirum. Like I fell in love with this band on that album, dude. And like, is this the same vocalist as like present day on that album? Because I don't
Uh,
know.
no, so it's actually there was an issue that happened with the previous lead singer. So they did Insufferum, then they did said no, we're gonna go more black metal, and they came out with A Hill to Die Upon. And then immediately
Yeah,
after
okay.
he got canceled, I guess he had a bunch of sexual allegations, and people were like calling for him to
Shit.
get kicked out of the band. And we've seen this happen dozens of times. We know how it goes. He was the only person I've seen handle it the way he did, to where he was very vocal about it and said, "No, fuck you, I'm not leaving this band. That's all bullshit. Don't believe them." And it's like, oh man, he's just. And
Oh,
then the band
geez.
kicked him out, and he wouldn't stop. So they have this new guy, and that's the guy
Oh, man.
who did their album after that. I think it's called Zwilight, and he's the current singer now.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah,
interesting. Well, my personal opinion, like aside from the guys' cases and charges, he was a fantastic, fabulous metal vocalist. Like that dude's lows were just out of this world, man. And I hadn't heard a band like him. That I don't know. That's what drew me to Mental Cruelty and Saphirum. That whole album, it fucking rocked. And I thought the whole black metal phase was weird. So was that old vocalist did he partake in the whole makeup fucking videos and shit with that video King that he came out with, or is that the
I
new
don't,
guy?
I
Because
don't
I
know
kind of
if he
hated
did the
that wave.
makeup. Yeah, I hate the makeup. That's one of the things I was very worried about when I saw. I was like, are they going to
Yeah.
don that stupid fucking makeup? Because I thought that was what turned me off with
Oh
them.
man,
Like,
it was
I
terrible.
didn't mind King of
Yeah.
Fire, but as soon as I saw they were wearing doing like the corpse paint stuff, I was like, this isn't you. Stop
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It to me looked clearly just like trying too hard type shit. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, this is not your guys' band. What the fuck are you guys doing? You know?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. And maybe I'm just being a little too harsh, but yeah, it just, it was just like if you hear the album Insaphirum and then you try to imagine those guys wearing makeup, like just can't happen. It's not possible. But then like you get into the symphonics and it's just like I guess maybe, but then like the video I just felt like was uber cringe. It's like, yeah, this is just weird. So yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I was definitely phased out of mental cruelty in that era, but yeah, I'll give this new track a listen and or I think I did. I think that I did listen to this new track. I just don't know that it was as memorable and stuck with me as much as I intended. I think I only listened to it once, so I'll probably listen to it again just to kind of get a new feel of it, see what it's like. But
I gotcha. So yeah, I think we've gone over everything on the new playlist. I did check out one song from the band request. Again, this isn't someone who requested it. I just saw that they started following our group. And that is the song Torment by the band Brutal Honesty. Um,
hmm,
a lot. First off, I'm going to say I'm very surprised that that's never been a band name before in the metal community. I don't know, maybe it is.
brutal honesty.
Yeah, if you're going to be a brutal
Yeah,
band,
yeah, uh, yeah, it's a pretty good title, honestly. Yeah. Dude. Wow. Oh, that's hilarious.
uh, this was a little more not my typical cup of tea. It's not bad. Almost reminds me of like it's it's new metal. Almost reminds me of like early Stained a little bit. But kind of
Mhm.
it's better production and stuff like that. There's some cool parts. I do like when he does the more aggressive vocals. I kind of appreciate that more. One thing I would like to see from this band, I think would tie everything together for me is just so the song's a little bit more mid-paced, a little slower. If they could just speed it up so I can get those drums because I when the drums do kind of barrel in it, I want to hear more of it. I want to hear it cascade. I think that would scratch the itch I have for this band. But it's not bad. Not I would say good. So if you're interested in some newer new metal from local bands, check out the song "Torment" by Brutal Honesty. And also, Brutal Honesty, thank you for following us on Facebook. Check us out.
Shuts up. I checked out a new song. I didn't add it to the playlist, but I probably should have. I don't know if you maybe saw this or checked it out, but Crown Magnetar. I will always bring up two different name variations because I don't really know how to pronounce them properly. Decapitation Ritual is the title of this new single. Did you listen to this?
I have not. I didn't even know they. I'm not too familiar with that band. I didn't know they came out with anything. How was it?
Yes, it's not bad. It's very much still Crown Magnetar. But not a whole lot of variation there. You get a it's just this band is very much almost kind of in their own vein. Like I don't know a lot of bands that I can automatically think of that really sound like them. They're just very fast-paced. I would almost classify them as brutal deathcore because
Okay.
they're just super fast, super extreme. It's either extreme deathcore or brutal deathcore. And just I don't know, they're just super speed, super in your face, relentless kind of deathcore type shit going on. Almost like Benighted if Benighted was deathcore. Minus
Okay.
like the squeals and vocal differences there. But heavy as shit, man. We'll add it on the next week's playlist just because I kind of missed it this one. But yeah, that was a new release that I kind of was late on. Other than that, man, I revisited Signs of the Swarm, Amongst the Low and Empty again. And there's a particular song that's kind of popping in my head. And I don't know if this song on that album has popped out to you or not, but it's the ending track on that album, which I think is another reason why that album has turned out to be great, in my opinion. But Milady,
I don't think I listened
do
to
you
that one.
remember that track off the top of your head? Okay.
No.
It's the ending track off of Amongst the Low and Empty. But dude, that guitar just one day I was working and that guitar just kind of popped back into my head, just doom, 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 down, doom, down, doom, down. And it's like this slow kind of paced punch in your face. Um, Slow burn kind of vibe, but dude, oh, it's so damn good. Man, I love that song. And then combined with that dude's fucking vocals, it's like chef's kiss, man. That band is just they're just badass. I just really love that band, man. And I'm still not super pumped on their newest single, I Won't Let You Die. Maybe I haven't caught the wave yet. Maybe I will eventually. But damn, I'm just excited to see what those dudes do again. Because
Yeah.
this album, Amongst the Low and Empty, it was a it was a late wave to me. And so I'm kind of still just uh, relishing in the greatness that that album was. But anyways, that's my side notes for new releases.
I gotcha. There was another new
That and I
song.
also listened to I also listened to a shit ton of Periphery. I was late on the homework for last week, so I delved way into their discography late per usual. But yeah.
I gotcha. There was a new song. I didn't add it on the playlist, but I'll probably add it on next week. I don't know if you like it or not because it is mathy. But that is the new song by Frontier. I forget what it's called, like
Oh,
Skull
okay.
Burned or something like that. Uh Frontier's back. New, I think it's a new EP they're coming out with next month. It gets me excited.
Ooh.
I love Frontier. They're for anyone who doesn't know Frontier, think of like Tony Danza tap dance extravaganza and Car Bomb had a baby. It's very digital, mathcore in your face, seizure inducing style of music. It's very intense.
Nice. Hell yeah. Okay. I know Sean's a fan. Sean's a big fan, so he'll probably appreciate that shout out. But I know I feel like you've probably bumped them to me. I think Sean has. I just don't know that I've really caught their wave. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'd give it a shot maybe.
I want to say they're a Scottish-based band, but the singer is St. Louis. Chad Capper or Cappin, I can't remember.
Oh, no
Yeah,
shit. Huh.
they're pretty good. I have also been checking out some older music. Obviously with the mathy stuff, I've been getting more into Dillinger again because they're great. Um, then also trying
Nice.
to get ahead of
Hell yeah.
our Dimmu Border ranking because I'm not
Keep it
super familiar with them. So
coming.
right now I'm in the early discography. Right now I'm on what's that album called? The one with the very late '90s album cover with the Spiritual Black Dimensions.
Oh, okay. Wow, you're still back in the day. Yeah. We can save that for next week too. I know they've got a huge catalog, so I mean, if you want to wait on that one, we definitely can. I have not done any homework on Demu, but I did all my homework in my high school years and after that. So I know almost all of these albums pretty well, but yeah, it's it's a crazy discography, man. It's I still think a great band, or well, a great guy. No, uh, not knocking on him, but I think Shagrath is like the only one left anymore. I think it's him and one guitarist, but because Galder just recently left. I don't know if you've seen that in Metal News,
Yeah, I think I
but
did.
um, yeah, Galder, he was the um, I think lead guitarist for quite a while in Demu, and just kind of took the spotlight on riffage, in my opinion. But he had this old project called Old Man's Child,
Hmm.
and I've always thought they were stellar. Super fun listen. If you haven't listened to them, man, highly recommend. Um, but it's kind of like symphonic death metal or symphonic black metal in its own kind of realm, aside from Demu, not totally similar, but really fun listen, dude. But he just stepped away from Demu to go kind of revive that. So I'm super excited to see what comes of that. I'm also kind of saddened to kind of accept that Demu is probably on its last days. I mean, as they have been like the last handful of years, I felt like the last album and or two was just kind of they just kind of shit out, almost. It's just like it's not like it's garbage. I'm not saying that, but it's just like it just seems like it was very hard for them to kind of push these last albums out, especially Eonian. Eonian was their most, I think it's their most recent album release. Like the rest have just been either remasters or shit like that. Eonian was like the last actual written music from, and that was like 8 years. Eonian was 2018, and that was after Abrahadabra, which was 2010. So it's like, holy shit, dude. Quite a big span there. But yeah,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, it's not I feel like I'm on the downhill part because I feel like there's a big shift on the album I'm on from their previous stuff that I'm on the spiritual black dimensions. All the other stuff kind of felt like very uh that era of
Oh,
black
you're
metal, the rough.
in my opinion, you're about to hit the best wave of
Hmm.
Temu. In my opinion, like from uh the next the next 8 years are solid greatness. That's the era. That's the prime era of Demu for me after spiritual black dimensions.
I gotcha.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
we're
intermission. I gotta pee. Welcome back to Death Metal Daddies.
yeah.
Um, yeah, man. So one thing I feel like we kind of got on the wave of metal news there for a second with the discussion of CJ, the artist murder. Another one I wanted to highlight was, did you see the statement from the infamous Tim Lambesis on the break of Esley dying?
I did not. What's the new news?
Oh, so he finally released a statement after the last remaining member decided to call it quits. Um, basically, you know what? It was well explained, and he kind of rid himself from metal news since then, and I think appropriately so. I think it was well explained, man. He basically said that a member, him and another member, I can't remember which one in particular, but it was kind of like a following out sort of thing. Like one guy stated his opinions on it. They had financial disagreements on where I think the band money should go. And for those reasons, this guy was just like, well, I don't really agree on continuing this thing. And so he was just like, I think I'm out. And then he had a wave of two or three other guys just being like, well, if he quits, I'm quitting. Like, I'm not doing this. And it was that sort of thing. But Tim really did kind of say it very professionally. And I don't know, it's a really good statement, man. I feel like since you did not read it, maybe I should kind of look it up and just state it. It'll be a good moment on here. Let's see. Tim statement. It's like one of the top Google searches. So here we go. In November 2024, Lambesis released a statement about the departure of bandmates, including guitarist Phil Segrasso, bassist Ryan Neff, guitarist Ken Susi, and drummer Nick Pierce. Lambesis stated he supported the bandmates' decisions and that he was open to discussing things with them. He also looked forward to building a new team and creating sorry, I'm just reading a AI synopsis. Hang on, let me find the actual statement. Um, oh, it's gonna blur me until I subscribe. This fucking motherfuckers. Son of a bitch. Well, I can read through their blurs. Little did they know. Um, it says the exodus began last month with Neff, Susie, and Pierce announcing their decision to quit the band over personal morals, sorry, on October 25th. Shortly afterwards, longtime guitarist Phil Segrasso, who had been, oh my gosh, come on, who had been with the group since '03, followed suit, pointing to creative and personal differences with Lambesis. This is on Billboard. That's like a pretty
Yeah.
notable press. Anyways, in a statement posted to social media November 4th, Lambesis reflected on internal issues that culminated in the band's dissolution. This is his quote. As I reflect, I certainly agree that there was an unhealthy environment that made leaving for a new tour with the previous lineup unrealistic. He admitted that it became difficult to figure out even the smallest details. I can stick strong to my vision for the future of As I Lay Dying, even when others think it should go another direction. No, he also addressed his fractured relationship with Segrasso, sharing that the two no longer saw eye to eye personally, creatively, or financially. He clarified that the band's statements were released in response to rumors amid what he had described as a chaotic time. In his departure, Segrasso had expressed concerns over the band's atmosphere, stating that the band no longer offers a healthy or safe environment for anyone involved, whether creatively, personally, and professionally. And after witnessing some concerning patterns of behavior, Grasso realized that I can no longer, in good conscience, enable further actions that could negatively affect anyone working within the space. He added, I feel it's in my best interest to complete this distance myself both creatively and personally from As I Lay Dying. So this is going back and forth between both statements. So whatever. Sorry, I was just trying to get Tim's statement, but I guess we're gonna get both. Um, for Lambesis, the breakup doesn't mark the end of As I Lay Dying. He expressed gratitude for his former bandmates, saying he fully supports their decisions and that my door will always remain open to discussing anything directly. Now he looks forward to building a new lineup and fostering an atmosphere that is supportive, positive, and fosters a creative environment. Despite the turmoil, As I Lay Dying's eighth studio album, Through Storms Ahead, will still release as planned on November 15th. The album will feature contributions from the now former members and guest appearances by artists including Sludge Prevails Alex Terrible, former Lord Shore vocalist Tom Barber. Why don't they say Chelsea Grim's current vocalist Tom Barber? They say Lorna Shore's former vocalist Tom Barber. That's kind of like insulting. But anyways, um, just goes on to say Lambesis has been at the center of controversy, most notably in 2014 when he served time in prison after pleading guilty to attempting to hire a hitman to murder his then wife. Yada yada. God damn it. Oh, okay. Here is his full statement. Sorry, that article was just getting to all the bullshit. It says, "Hi everyone. I needed some time to process all that has happened recently with As I Lay Dying. As I reflect, I certainly agree that there was an unhealthy environment that made leaving for a new new tour with the previous lineup unrealistic. It had become difficult to figure out even the smallest details, and I admit I can stick strong to my vision for the future of Esley Dying, even when others think it should go another direction. It saddens me to think about the behaviors, communication, and patterns of interaction that led up to the tour cancellation. Phil and I no longer saw eye to eye personally, creatively, or financially. Discussions during this time prompted his decision to depart first, with each of the touring members deciding to leave shortly after, as they were not interested in going on without him. Unfortunately, that wasn't the order in which everything was made public, as some statements were rushed out during a chaotic time in response to rumors. I fully support each of the guys' decision to leave and believe at this time it is best for everyone. With that being said, my door will always remain open to discussing anything directly, as I believe closing communication led to many assumptions and problems of its own. Now, regarding what's next, Azalea Dying was founded on persistence and determination. For anyone who is familiar with the foundational years from 2000 to 2004, you know that more than 20 people whom I'm incredibly grateful for have come and gone to help bring to life this vision I've had in my head since I was 19 years old. I look forward to building a new team and creating an atmosphere that is supportive, positive, and fosters a creative environment. Through Storms Ahead will still be released November 15th. I am proud of what we created and look forward to sharing it with all of you. Pretty professional, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you wouldn't think that a guy on steroids would have said something that nice. At least, that was my immediate thought. But no, not to shit on the guy. I really do think that that was a really good statement to release after all that shit. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know. What do you think of that?
I do. However, it's one of those things that is hard to take him with sincerity based off of what we know of the past because we thought previously he was sincere. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I can never know with Tim, but with Azalea Dying, I feel
Yeah,
like I can still try to distance like we said, talked about earlier, separating the art from the artist. He might be a shitty person. He might not be. He might have changed. Maybe he's a good person now. At this point, it doesn't really matter too much to me. Because I'm probably still going to listen to that album with an open mind, especially after that one bomb track that they released with the uh, Alex Terrible and Tom Barber. And then they had another song after that. I want to
yeah,
say it was pretty good. But
yeah. They really did. Like it's the new releases are the best Azalea Dying that I've heard since An Ocean Between Us.
mhm.
That was the most recent, interesting album to me. And this one kind of really caught my eye. I shared it with the band guys. I was just like, holy shit, dude, look, like these guys are actually heavy again. And, just kind of like what your thoughts were too. And it was just like, wow, I was very surprised. But I don't know. After reading that statement, I just felt like a lot of that blow up was all just honestly hype, like people hype,
Mhm.
like people just I felt like freaked out. They're just like, "Oh
Kind of
my
like
God, it's
tabloid.
Tim shitting on people again." Yeah, yeah, very tabloid, man. Yeah. With
And
that
then,
being said, I feel like I still want a Tim Lambesis documentary. I still want.
well, I would say, because something that was in that statement, it is something I do forget. He is really actually the only original member because there was that long period where it was just constant turnover to where Phil Segrasso was
Mhm.
like the other only older member, and that was 2003. So it really, in all
Wow.
honesty, it is pretty much his project. That would be like if Michael Keane from the Faceless had another band, they all quit, which has happened before, but it's kind of like, you know what,
Yeah.
it's you know what to expect from the Faceless, or even with Abigail Williams. Like if like nothing against Quinn Sorcerer, I don't think this is the issue, but if at some point all his members left the band over like financial disagreements or whatever, I wouldn't think any differently of Ken
Yeah.
Sorcerer because I would think, well, it's his project. He can kind of do what he wants, kind of thing. I do think it's maybe sucks that, like
True.
they've been business partners and friends for what, 21 years now. So that kind of sucks. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, it is
Yeah.
Tim's project. As long as he is um, not doing the whole what he was the last few years of As I Lay Dying, where pretending to be a Christian and to kind of like what's what I don't know if there's a word for it, but like snake oil salesman, I guess, like try to convince people to buy his music purely because people do it. I was that guy. I was that kid. But trying to kind of manipulate a crowd to pretend you're being something you're not. As long as he's true and it's just like, hey, this is what I am now, whatever, I'm fine with it.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's just I don't know. It's interesting. I can't even remember what I was felt like I was gonna riff on a tangent there for a minute. Um Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm having a brain dull moment right now for a second. I felt like it was on the tip of my tongue. Tim Lambesis, blah blah blah. Fuck. What was I gonna say? Damn it. I felt like I was gonna make or add to that. Add to kind of what we were saying. No, you're fine, man. It's just oh yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna mention. For me, it's different when the front man, like even though the bands have a lot of shit kind of going around, like controversial, like the faceless Michael Keane you mentioned, Ken Sorcerer on Abigail Williams, same thing. Those guys are frontmen, but they are also donning a guitar. So
Okay, yeah.
they're also literally writing more music. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like with Tim's position, it's definitely a different dynamic. Like, he's literally just a vocalist. I don't know that he puts forth any kind of guitar riffs or is just like writing guitar riffs on the side. It's just like, yeah, you play this. That would be honestly more respectful if it was just kind of his I have more respect for Michael Keane the Faceless, Ken Sorceron, Abigail Williams, just because I know that those guys like they're writing vocals, they're also writing guitars too, you know.
I got you.
Whereas I just feel like Tim is he just trying out different metalcore guitarists and just like yeah, yeah, that's Absolutely Dying sounds like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so it's just like I don't know. It's kind of weird.
So would you equate the situation then with more of Frankie Palmieri from Amir then?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because I feel like, when he acquired Joshua Travis, the now guitarist, I felt like I even remember listening to an interview with Joshua Travis where he said once he got into Amir, he was asked like how that Amir came to be or how that album came to be. And I think that Joshua Travis literally said he had 200 songs recorded and that he just sent Frankie and Frankie narrowed it down to like 13 or whatever the album track listing is. And I'm just like, for one, holy shit, that is a lot of fucking tracks to go through. And two, it's just like, I mean, I guess was Joshua Travis writing to the Emir style? Was he just trying to replicate what they're doing? I mean, if so, he kind of did a good job. I think it still kind of kept that Emir sound, and almost kind of the same with As I Lay Dying. Like it is odd, but as I Lay Dying kind of still there's some sort of still like resemblance to old As I Lay Dying in a way. It's not
Mm-hmm.
totally the same like we've said, like it's heavier clearly, but I don't know. It's definitely interesting for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I always wonder what the inner workings are going on or
Mm-hmm.
like there. You know what I mean?
I do find it funny the Joshua Travis thing because that sounds very believable. Because I heard Frankie say something different, which I thought was there's no way that's true. That Frankie writes everything.
Yeah, there's no way in hell. No way in hell. I I don't believe that at all. I don't know. I just feel like I could see that dude pick up a guitar and like not even know what to do with it, you know?
Yeah, he's gonna take credit for it as soon as everyone leaves. All of a sudden, he starts writing music just like Joshua Travis always does.
Yeah. I feel like that's one of those statements where he's just saying like, yeah, like yeah, I write everything, but maybe he's just referring to like in his mind the lyrics, but it's just kind of masking over the whole song. Like, yeah, I wrote that song. You know what I mean?
He might not have said he wrote everything, but I do know he was trying to take credit for the writing process of all the music of like the guitar, what the guitars are doing, and the drums and stuff. Is like, no, you're not. Don't act like you are.
That's crazy.
Because
Yeah, that's
I'm pretty
crazy.
sure he took pretty much all the musicians from Glass Cloud.
I don't know. I know that the drummer, I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, maybe, but I know that the drummer, I was into that band, Hunt the Dinosaur, which is just like a one dude project basically. But really for his vocal capabilities and vocal like kind of style, just super gnarly shit. But um that vocalist hangs out. He uh had some videos like surface on social media or like recorded videos of him hanging out with that drummer. And that was very much in the phase of when New Emure had just dropped their really recent album with the new lineup and shit, and that drummer's like still in Emure. So I can't remember, I don't remember who that guy is, but I know that he was in a band before. I know that he
Okay,
is definitely was in a prominent metal band before. I don't remember if it's Glass Cloud or not.
okay.
Yeah, I mean you might be right. It could be, but I'm not for sure.
I don't really have
But yeah.
much else to add. I did have some ideas, but it is getting late. Do you want to do the '06 Island, or do you want to talk about dad stuff? What do you want to do?
Let's just finish it out talking about dad stuff. I did not check out the '06 Island playlist. We'll save that and maybe I don't know, maybe we'll maybe next week we won't get a lot of releases and we can kind of combine DMU's discography and the '06 Island. Maybe. I don't know. It's up to you. Or we can
I don't
split them
know.
up even. I don't give a
Either
shit.
way, we're
But I
having the
feel
new
like either
Azalea
one's gonna
dying.
take like yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Wow, true. Yeah, very true.
But yeah, we can.
Yeah, let's just end it on dad stuff, man, I think.
Okay. I always wanted to talk about because I've noticed me and Danny have been talking about it recently. With Annie and Jensen's cat has been doing it a little bit too. Seeing them interacting with kids their age, and sometimes there's times where they're hanging out with their friends, and I have to be there, but they don't want to be around me. Almost like
Mm.
I'm see they're outgrowing me into where I'm not their only friend anymore, kind of thing. And it
They're becoming too cool.
yeah, and it makes me worry almost. Like it's still very young, but it almost makes me think of like when you're younger, you kind of get embarrassed by your parents around your friends. It worries me about that way. It's like I'm not gonna be the cool dad anymore, kind of thing. Um, because like one thing I also want to brag my daughter a little bit because she ran a track meet yesterday. Uh,
Oh yeah, I
got
saw that, man.
eighth out of 10.
That's awesome. Hey, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. She was hanging out with her friend. I guess it's her best friend because even her friend was talking about her while she was running. Just like, yeah, that's my friend Annie. You don't know her. But yeah, just like is there I went to some school function and she wanted to go off, hang out with her friends, and is like, I just kind of said there was like, so what do I do? I just kind of hanging
Yeah.
out with all these other loser dads. Just I don't know these guys. I don't have anything in common with them. I'm in a farming town.
Yeah.
Have you had had anything like that with Lux? Like when Lux hangs out with her friends her age?
I mean, so we haven't really gotten there yet. I mean, Lux is still she's only 4, so we haven't done like outside of home hangouts and shit like that. And I don't know that I'm really ready for all that, but Lex runs the daycare in our house, so it's still kind of centralized around our home, so that's nice. I feel like we have that advantage going for us. Um, but I definitely kind of understand what you're saying because I went to my nephew's football games, and he is only I'm probably going to get his age wrong, but I feel like he's somewhere in between 6 and 8. And anyways, he played flag football this year. And so we went to one of his flag football games with the girls and, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and that's their boys, but they're their boy. But as soon as I walked up, I'm like, I can tend to be like foul-mouthed and stuff. And so I remember like walking down to the sit with them because like I met them late. The game had already started, and so like I show up, but my daughter see me first, like Daddy Day or whatever. They run up and stuff, and I'm like, hey, hey, and I walk down, and I just remember like sitting down, and I remember one of the first things I said was like a curse word. And I don't know if it was like the F bomb or like son of a bitch or it was like, holy shit, the weather today or something stupid like that. But I remember like I sat down and I just expected like people conversating all around me, talking chatty, but it was just weird at how quiet it was. And like I sit down and I was like, hey, fucking weather, huh? And blah, blah, blah. And like I just like look around, and every parent's just like staring at me. I was like, oh shit. And I know it's like this is kind of unrelated, but I just felt like I was definitely like kind of out of the mix of how it like should have gone down. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm getting at, but
The other parent dynamics.
yeah, like I just didn't feel like I clicked with their they weren't even really in groups. It was almost just like mom and dad's, mom and dad's, mom and dad's, and they were all just
Hmm.
kind of like together, not really grouping up, talking together, but like it was just so quiet. And I just sit down, just like, son of a bitch, and then I just like look like the trashiest parent there. I felt like, so it's just like, oh, okay, all right, I guess I'll just shut up now. But
You should have kept it
yeah,
going.
it
Just
was,
like start asking the other parents if they had a beer on them, who's holding.
yeah. You know, the thought crossed my mind. I was like, so do they sell beer up there at the concessions? Or this is like 1 p.m. on a Saturday. So, but I was just like, that thought definitely crossed my mind. I was like, dude, this game would be fucking badass if they sold beer. But
Just light
yeah,
up a
I,
joint.
I don't think they do. Yeah, yeah. Just
Aaron
if
looks
they
at
do,
you. It's for
yeah.
my glaucoma.
Yeah. Which which team's your shit bag on, huh? No. Yeah. No, those games they're still exhilarating. I was also one of the only parents that was just like, yeah, where go, go. And it got like super into it whenever like they were just taking the ball and running with it. I was just like, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I love football, man, so
You
I
scream at
was
any of the
getting into
refs?
it. Huh?
You scream at any of the refs for a bad call?
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's fucking bullshit. That's just fucking bullshit. Yeah, that's not right. Yeah. Oh, that would have been great.
There was some of that down here. I guess so. Crane is trying to start a football program, but they're starting with like the little kids, and then as the kids grow up, like they'll move into that age group to where they play. They're trying to get it to where they get all the way to high school, but they're starting off with this crop right now. I guess it was like the I think fourth or fifth grade championship in this area, and there was almost a full blown fight at this fourth grader football game. Apparently, um,
Oh, I love it already, man. Oh, that sounds great.
so Crane was they played Pierce City. Crane was up, I think, 21-7 at halftime. Or no, it was
Holy
either
shit.
halftime or the fourth quarter is like, oh yeah, Crane's gonna win. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like they're gonna win. And then I guess there was a couple like questionable calls, and then all of a sudden Pierce City started winning. And I guess the
Oh
parents started
shit.
getting pissed, and then the Pierce City parents started chirping up too, and there was like arguments and almost fights. Like, man, yeah. So
Oh
Crane ended
man,
up
that's
losing, and
hilarious.
I want to say someone even said something. I wasn't there.
Wow.
Danny was telling me about. They're complaining about the refs, and it's like, and the Pierce City people were like, "Well, yeah, it's our hometown. We pay them." Just kind of like trying to start shit.
Throw the ref at 20. Hey, you're not gonna call this false start. All right. Yeah. That'd
Yeah,
be hilarious. They're like paying off
calling,
the ref.
calling face mask on 4-year-olds. I don't know what's going.
Yeah.
That was some of the
Yeah.
penalties they
Oh
were
man,
calling
that'd
on
be
these
hilarious.
kids. Like, who's?
Really?
Yeah,
That's crazy. Wow. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. That's wild. Yeah, man. Like I do wish I had a boy for football. Like it's still one of those iffy sports. Like flag football, I'd still be super enthused about. But then like once they get to tackle, like I feel like they still start tackle really young. I don't know if it's the same for your area, but I'm pretty sure they start tackle like at like third grade or something. I was like, holy shit,
I
man.
don't know what age they started, but I think they are doing tackling at fourth grade. I know at least because I think that's what they were doing. I don't know. I
Damn.
At the same time, you also want them to have the basics down of how to properly tackle and take a tackle. Because I remember I started late. I started in
Yeah.
seventh grade, but I remember my freshman year is either my freshman or sophomore year. Right before practice, they showed us a video of like if you aren't taking the tackle properly or aren't getting tackling someone properly, what can happen is like all these people getting paralyzed and stuff, like people going
Oh
limp and
shit.
shit. And they're like, "All right, you guys understand what you need to do?" Yes, coach. All right, tackling drills. And so we go out do tackling drills, and everyone's
Everyone's doing the demonstrations that you saw in the
well,
video.
everyone's just making sure their head's not down, and
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah, it's just like you think about it, it's just like, damn, dude, I don't know. Like you send your kid out there, it's just you don't know if they're gonna come back in a wheelchair or not. It's pretty scary.
yeah,
Like,
and you always gotta worry about CTE now. Now that we
oh
actually
yeah, dude.
have
Like, could you
science on
imagine
it.
your boy starting football at fourth grade and just continuing like up and through high school, all the way to college? It's like, holy shit, man, you are in for a life of getting fucked up. Like,
Yeah,
that is in for a lot of tackling.
I remember I think it was sophomore or junior year. I had a buddy. I think he had a concussion mid game because I was on the sideline, turned to get water, and then I looked back and he was on. I thought he was like pissed off at a call because he's one of those people. He was one of those guys like if he gets pissed off, he'll become very animated. So I thought he was pissed off at a call. Because he was on
Oh,
the
jeez.
ground like army crawling, but somehow doing it in place like that.
Oh,
I was like, what the
oh
fuck's
my
he pissed off
gosh.
about? Apparently, he was having a seizure after.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. And you're just like, geez, why is he so fucking mad?
Jesus, we're gonna get another penalty.
Wow. That's crazy. Oh man. It's seriously scary though, you know. It's gotta do some damage.
Yeah,
Got to, no doubt.
yeah. That's why you gotta tackle properly, kids.
Yeah.
Watch that scary ass video.
That's why you fucking hit him where it hurts.
That's why you hip drop tackle. You won't break
Yeah.
your neck. You'll just break their legs.
Yeah. Oh fuck. That's crazy. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I would have played football, but I didn't, man. Skipped out. Honestly, the scene was more um kind of turned off to me than anything. Like the whole jock phase, the whole slap each other on the ass, give each other nuggies sort of thing. It's like, not really. And not that that was a common occurrence at my school or anything like that,
I
but
was saying, did you go to school at
eh,
Saved by the Bell?
yeah. I mean, it's just like Eldon was very jockey. I mean, the scene was very jockey, like letter jackets, it's varsity blues pretty much. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
no way, dude. I'm gonna hang out with the stoners, try to huff some paint. No.
I don't know. I'd say our football
Yeah,
team was kind of a mix of everyone. Um,
yeah.
because I had buddies who were on the team who were also super stoners, listened to a lot of indie music, talk favorite bands are Modest Mouse and Radiohead. Then had
Oh,
I remember one kid got kicked off because uh the gap between school letting out and the football and the actual game that night, they would have us sit in the wrestling room and like watch a movie to like make sure he wouldn't get in trouble. And
oh,
one
wow.
kid left to go, said to go to the bathroom, but apparently he went out to the parking lot to sell his Ritalin and got caught.
Oh shit. Wow. Damn.
So we had a mixed bag of everyone in on the team.
Yeah. I always knew that like the jocks were totally getting their grades like uh I don't know what you call it, bumped
Fluffed.
by the
Yeah.
teacher. Yeah, fluffed for sure. Because a lot of those guys were dumb as shit. It was like, there's no way this motherfucker's like a straight A student or B plus, whatever they got to be.
We had some like that, but it wasn't necessarily that they were being flubbed. They were just taking the easier classes. Like we had
Mm.
regular algebra, but then we had fundamentals of mathematics. So you had like the regular classes, but then you had like the hey, we'll get you there kind of thing.
Yeah,
We had that for
like the
about every
spec.
subject.
I just figured that I just picture this tank of a guy that they're like making play center, and he's just this big beefy dude. He's like, okay, coach, I go there. They're just like, yeah, all right, you got it, buddy. They're just like putting him through. Oh man, be funny.
We did
Sorry.
have a couple of those. I mean, Maryville was also a farming town, so there's a lot of farm strong kids, and then also farming thinking. Well, not farm thinking, but like the simple minded country people kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, fun times. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about all I got for fatherhood stuff.
Yep.
I'm surprised
Same,
with
man.
this football talk we didn't talk about the elephant in the room that happened Sunday.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks for bringing it up, dude. I mean, 9-0, holy shebang. Like the Chiefs
Fuck.
blocking that field goal. That
If luck hadn't gone, someone did a video breakdown. If luck hadn't gone exactly the Chiefs' way at a certain time in each of their games, they would be 2-7 instead of this 9-0 shit.
I mean, you might be right. You know, there's one fact that is there, and that the fact is, you know, people would commonly say, "Oh, without Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs are fucking nothing." That's not true
Not
this
this
year.
season.
Patrick Patrick Mahomes has not done that great. He
No.
really has not.
I want to say they
And
did a side
and
by side statistic of him and Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones is actually doing better.
well, like you know what's hilarious and what I the stat that I love is that Joe Burrow is dominating on yards, touchdowns, you name it. Dude's got stats, but his fucking losses are just terrible, man. Dude scores like 4 touchdowns in the game. No, loses.
I
It's
did
like
see that.
how?
He got
How
four
does that happen?
touchdowns in loss, but Jared Goff got five interceptions in one.
That's crazy, dude. That is just crazy. It's wild. That's some shit luck right there. But those bastards deserve it. That is just a douchebag team. They're the ultimate villains of the NFL, in my opinion. Like, I've seen that the tide has shifted, and it seems that the Chiefs is now the most overall hated team in the NFL, especially after the field goal block. But I, I saw a great meme, and it's just this shitty photoshopped ref doing this, and it was just
I
like
yeah.
I something about the Chiefs field goal block and how they paid the ref off. I was like, oh, dude, I died laughing. Oh, it's so funny.
As a Broncos fan, I
Uh,
will say I didn't feel like there was really much referee issues. The only one bad call I didn't like was the one they called on Sertan, the illegal hands to the face or whatever after we sacked
yeah, but
Mahomes.
he didn't he shove him like right as soon as the play starts, like right before he starts running.
I don't even know
I
because
was
I
like,
saw a
come on,
video.
that was ridiculous.
I don't know about that. I did see that him and DeAndre Hopkins on that play wrestled to the ground.
Yes. So that was, I don't know if that was the play or if that was that. There was definitely tension between those two. but it was literally the play that he got called. It's as soon as the ball gets snapped, fucking Sertan just does that, and Hopkins' face goes up like that. But Hopkins just did not give a fuck. He just ran his route and fucking went like a champ. There was definitely tension between those two that night. But you know what? I seen that happen. I was just like, whatever. I'll give it to him. I get it. He's pissed off. They're in the game. I would have let him have it. It wasn't a clear grab, like hands to the face. I feel like I don't know. Is there two different calls? Is face mask a different call between hands to the face, or is that now the same call?
I don't know because I'm not really too keen on when it comes to secondaries, what they're allowed to
Hmm.
do and not do, kind of thing. I know they're not when it
Yeah.
comes to like pass interference, they cannot mess with them before the ball gets to them, or if they are, they have to be going after the ball at the same time, kind of thing. That's what the extent of it, I know. That's all I know
Yeah.
when it comes to that
Yeah.
stuff. You leave it hands to face, I don't really know too much about.
Yeah. Honestly, what has carried the Chiefs this season is undoubtedly Steve Spagnuolo and that fucking defense.
Yeah.
They are they are the reason the Chiefs are 9-0. Undoubtedly, man. Because our offense, we have lost receivers, we have just fucking messed up plays. We have not done great. The passing yards, it's not really there. Interceptions, terrible. Um, so yeah, man, it's a weird 9-0 for the Chiefs. It is weird for sure. I gotta say that.
I've never wanted to break a TV more than Sunday.
Oh, oh man,
Because
I
I was
bet
just,
I
I was
was
just,
literally I was sitting there on my couch and I was doing my homework and I was like, yep, fucking we lost our fucking streak to the Broncos. Of course, the one fucking team that we lose our great streak to. Whatever. Dude, I was this close to turning the channel. This close. And I ignored the TV. I was like, whatever. And I just fucking went back to my schoolwork, did this, yada, yada. And I look up just to watch the field goal, just to see it lose. And I was just like, yeah, we're losing, whatever. They drove down. We let them drive down. They're going to make this, obviously. It's a fucking easy field goal. And then they go to kick, and the camera even follows where the ball should have went, and I don't see a ball. I was like, oh, oh. And then it happened. I was like, no fucking way. What are the odds? Like,
yes. What are the
crazy.
odds? This never happens. What the hell?
Yeah, dude. I mean, fucking crazy. Crazy season, man. Crazy season. But Chiefs have got a definite big contender coming up next weekend. And I'm kind of going to be surprised if we win this one. Buffalo Bills.
Oh, yeah.
So
Don't you guys usually
that's
struggle
going
with
to be a
them during the regular season?
yes. Yeah. It's always, honestly, going against the Bills, it's always a coin toss. It's always 50-50. I think either team is able to win. They are both, well, I don't know. I mean, what receivers do the Bills have now? Do they still have Diggs? I don't think they do. Do
No,
they?
Diggs is with the Texans now.
That's what I thought.
They still got Knox.
Hmm.
Um,
I
I
don't
don't
know
really
him very
know,
well.
but I want to say they're still doing pretty good.
I think they are. I haven't been able to watch them this season. I feel like I haven't had any channels that have aired any other games randomly for me, but we've also went to we don't have regular cable in our house anymore, so I've caught all the games on streaming or yeah, it's been streaming services. Or like I've done a trial with Fubo to get the Monday night footballs, but we have Paramount and Peacock, and one's CBS, the other's NBC. So we just kind of float back and forth between those two.
I got an app, or not an app, but I got a website where I can watch all of the Broncos games. I can send you that, and you should be able to watch any football games. I won't say it on there for obvious reasons, but because I don't want it taken down.
Oh, it's just illegal, huh? Nice.
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it's all that stuff is, but not for me. It's for the people doing it, and I don't want them
Oh,
taken down.
okay. So it's like Pirate Bay, but NFL.
Yeah, Yeah, it's just you're gonna have to deal with a lot of
Nice.
ads as soon as you click on it. You just gotta delete the ads, click on it, ad pops
Oh.
up, click out of it. You're gonna have that a couple
You like
times.
get
Eventually you'll get it.
you get like you get like girls moaning like pop-ups. Oh, oh. And you're just like clicking off. I promise the game's coming on, honey.
Just
Don't
here for
worry.
football. No, I want to see Bo Nix, not Mo
That's
Dix.
great. Oh yeah, it's hilarious. I can see it. All right, man. Well, shit. Yeah. Um, yeah. Great addition there on the football talk.
Yeah,
NFL's been popping this year, that's for sure.
weird season.
What I guess before we get off NFL, yeah, weird season. What's your other than your favorite rooting team? What's your secondary rooting team? Who's the team you're kind of just like, damn, they look interesting. They look awesome this year.
This year, I would say for me that would be the Bucks. I think
Oh,
the
okay.
Bucks with Baker Mayfield is very interesting, and I do like Baker Mayfield, so I'm interested to see what he does with the team because I
That
think
is
it's
true.
a very interesting redemption story with how Cleveland fucked him over.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree there. I don't know the details on that and how their deals went by any means, but I think Baker looks really good on the Buccaneers. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking like he meshes really good. And
Mm-hmm.
I think they play him really good. They make really good decisions what they're doing. My team would be the Minnesota Vikings.
Really?
They dude, they look badass. I don't know if you've seen them lately, but Sam Darnold, I don't know if he's held on this the last couple weeks. It seems like he's kind of fallen off the charts. Dude was leading in the uh, passing yards for MVP this year. Number one quarterback of all the NFL, Sam Darnold. And it was just like, are you fucking serious with the Vikings? Yes, dude. But, they still have Jefferson, who's a fucking beast of a
Mm-hmm.
receiver. And that is his guy. That's been his guy all year, dude. I think Jefferson has one of the most receiving yards of the year so far. So, yeah, dude, if you haven't watched them, they are a scary team to watch. And I'm just glad that the Chiefs don't have to play them this year. No doubt. But
Yeah, if anyone were to win it, I would rather it be him than Lamar Jackson. I'm tired of hearing about Lamar Jackson. Um,
yeah, I agree. Any game that I watch with the Ravens anymore, I'm almost always rooting for the other team just because I think the Ravens are overhyped
mhm.
and they are like OP now with fucking Derrick Henry. I'm just like, come
Yeah.
on, dude. Like,
Although, do
that's
you
just
guys
not
have?
fair.
You guys don't have that much room to talk. How many? You guys just got DeAndre Hopkins as if you needed more weapons.
Yeah, true. That is a pretty crazy cat. I did not see that one coming. I did not see that one coming. I was like, damn, we got D, but we lost Worthy for a while. We lost Rashee Rice. He's still not back. Isaiah Pacheco, running back, he's still not back. So we got Kareem Hunt, and honestly, everyone was super hyped about Kareem Hunt edition, but dude, like Kareem Hunt and all, he's a 5 yard runner. Like he maybe gets 15 every now and then. He's a 5 yard runner. That's about it. But with that being said, he still gets his first down. So I am grateful for that. But I offensively, dude, it's not my favorite Chiefs that I've seen. It's still not. Even though we do have DeAndre Hopkins, yeah, it's cool and all. I think the biggest thing that I take away from getting DeAndre Hopkins is it's a great distraction from Kelsey. Because when you throw DeAndre Hopkins and Kelsey out there, who do you fucking three-man cover? Good
Hmm.
luck. And that's the biggest thing that they have going for them right now. So,
I hope you guys. I
yeah.
I refuse to accept you guys getting a three-peat. No,
Yeah. You're in Missouri, man. You got to ride the boat sometime.
no.
No.
You guys are my sworn enemy. Because I'm a Broncos
uh,
fan in Chiefs country, growing up and dealing with the obnoxious Chiefs fans, even when you guys were shitty, just obnoxious as shit.
you know what? I was watching Mahomes run out of the pocket on one of the plays, and I was just thinking to myself, I was like, "Oh man, I bet Jeff's pissed about that one." Because like, yes, he took a lot of sacks last game. Like last game, he took more sacks than I think he's taken all season in one game for sure. But there was a couple times that like he squirreled out of the pocket. I was like, "Holy fuck, how did he do that?" I was like, and then my second thought was just, "Oh damn, I bet Jeff's pissed."
Oh,
Because
I
it's just
can
like,
think of the exact play you're talking about where
yeah.
he almost had him by the back and then almost by the helmet, but he just went around him.
Yeah, dude
Ah,
squirrels out of the pocket and just runs out. I'm like, how does this guy do that? Like, and then still makes the throw or at least gets it out of bounds. And I was like, damn. But then when Bo Nix took that fucking like 16-yard sack, I was like, oh, that is just crushing. That was
yeah,
just crushing. When Nick Bolton just stormed his ass, I was like, oh, he didn't see that shit coming. Because you could
no.
just tell Bo Nix just like hiked it, looked back, and then he saw Nick Bolton. He's like, oh shit. And he just tried to run, but he did like he had no time. No
Hmm.
time at all. It was crazy, man.
Yeah, we need to do some better O line this offseason. This was supposed to be like a rebuild year, and we're already kind of doing a lot better than we thought we were going to do. So,
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, that Bo Nix dude, I gotta say, that team looks so much better with that guy than they did with Russell Wilson.
oh
I
yeah,
feel like Russell Wilson, I feel like he still looks the same on the Steelers, maybe a little bit better because maybe they got some different players on the offensive line. Like Russell Wilson has stupid luck. Russell Wilson can throw it 30 yards down into the end zone and just miraculously make the receiver and hit a touchdown for some reason. But then he'll follow it up with two back-to-back interceptions.
mm-hmm,
And it's just like that is that guy to a T, you
mm-hmm,
know? And I feel like he's no different on the Steelers, but for some reason he's kind of looking a little bit better this year. But the Broncos, hands down, look like a way better team this year. Defensively, offensively, for sure.
yeah.
For sure. No
I
doubt.
think I think we could have done
And
some stuff with some DeAndre Hopkins, but it's whatever. It's fine because we have like almost no receivers. We got Cortland Sutton, and that's
yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, and shit, he's been on that team how long now? Quite a while, right?
While he's our I
Yeah.
think pretty much our only veteran besides our Garrett Bowles who also needs to go. Our tackle.
Yeah. I gotta say, I think that I respect the Broncos this year more than the other division teams. Like, even though it's a rivalry, it's not as hate, it's not as much hatred there as it was with Russell Wilson. I don't know. Russell Wilson just infuriated me when he came out with this Broncos country, let's ride. And I'm just like, shut up, you idiot. Like, and I think even Broncos fans said that with me, you know?
Oh,
Like, it was
it was
just
terrible time.
so cringy. Yes. So cringy because he didn't write at all after he said that. He did
No,
the
he was
exact opposite.
terrible. Because I remember he was doing all
Yeah.
that cringe stuff, and I was like, it's okay. He'll pay it off with him being good, and then it just never materialized. But
No.
speaking of that, so Danny's been because I got the kids into football and they cheer for the Broncos. So Danny's been getting some Broncos stuff. She got herself a new Broncos shirt. She's like, "It's on clearance," and she showed it to me, and it was the Broncos helmet. It said Denver Broncos, but on the bottom it said "Let's Ride," and it's like,
Did you
I
tell her to
had
get rid of it?
no. Well, at first she said she got it for me, I think, and it's like,
Oh
uh,
shit. You're like,
I'll wear it, but I think that's more of a you
yeah,
shirt.
I can't rate it. Yeah. Oh damn.
Because I had to explain, it's like,
That'd be hard.
you know what that is. Like, that's your guys' saying, isn't it? No, that is that bastard man, Russell Wilson, who still we're still feeling the pain from this year's salary cap deficit to
Uh,
next year's salary cap deficit of $50
damn. Okay.
million.
That's crazy. So what's the deal on those contracts? Like, do they still have to pay him that money for what that was agreed on, or how's that work?
I
Because
think
I know they
so.
made a ridiculous agreement with him,
Yeah, he
and
had to
then
get I think a 170 million guaranteed, so we still had to pay
what?
him,
Oh
and we
my
somehow they
gosh.
did it to where they cut him at a certain time to where they could split it between this season and next season.
Huh.
Hence why
Holy
again
shit, that's crazy.
we're mostly looking at this season as a rebuild season. That's why I think we during the trade deadline we didn't do anything. We sold players instead of bought players, even though we could be doing a playoff push. But
Oh man. I think that next year you guys will really be a weapon. I think that I agree. I think that this year is going to be your kind of rebuild building thing, probably with the draft too. I assume you guys have probably good draft picks at least. Um, but man, yeah, I they look way better than the Raiders. And I don't know. I feel like the Chargers, they kind of always do the same. Like they
mhm,
kind of always do relatively good, but they just never really make greatness.
no, the
I
Chargers
don't
will
know.
charge. They will
Yeah.
always be the Chargers.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting year, fun year to watch, but wild for sure.
oh yeah. Um. Well, that's all I got. Anything else you want to add before we sign out?
No, that's it for me, dude.
I gotcha. Well, hey everyone, if you enjoyed our podcast, check us out on Spotify. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and even TikTok. Um, yeah, if you like what you hear, send us and start following us on that. Send us a message. You can even email us at deathmetalldaddies@gmail.com. Tell us your favorite football team, how much you think I'm a loser for loving the Broncos, or how much you hate the Chiefs, or how much you love the refs, whichever you want to do. Um, but you can also email us about music because that's what we mostly talk about. Every now and then we'll do this football talk. But yeah, if you want some father advice or want to figure out what kind of new releases, check us out. Yeah. Until then, see you next week. Death Metal Daddy's out.
Oh, deer season. Oh, damn, I bet Jeff's pissed.